Hey, hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming here today and for attending this panel discussion. So today we will be talking about education in game development, role of formal academic education in the games industry. So our panelists today are Bia, the head of talent acquisition for Rovio, and Natasha, CEO of Retail Studio and also professor for Tokyo University. Myself, my name is Marianna, and I'm managing game design and development study program in Estonian Entrepreneurship University of Applied Sciences, where we have the first and only full bachelor's degree program in game design and development in the Baltic states. And let's start from the round of introductions. So I gave like a little brief, but probably we can start with Bea.
Yes, thanks for inviting to the event. I started at Rovio only 4 weeks ago. I'm quite a new joiner myself. People who don't know Rovio for some reason, they are the creators of Angry Birds brand. We are about 500 people globally in many different locations. Yesterday, we actually announced that we're going to open an office in Barcelona, which is super exciting. I'm leading the talent acquisition team at Rovio, have been at companies such as Seriously and Unity previously. So games industry is very close to my heart, and so is global talent acquisition.
Yes, and my name is Natasha Skult. I'm a CEO and creative director of MyTale, completely independent studio, which means that we have self-financed, self-published our titles and continue doing so, and there are 20 of us. And yes, talent acquisition is a big and really important fact especially in this studio where, things are way more. But we will discuss this sort of like a little bit later, like the differences in the bigger and the smaller studio acquisitions. And yeah, besides that, most of you might know my work in IGDA. So how many of you know what even IGDA is? Okay, a few hands only, so very happy to introduce then this organization. So IGDA stands for International Game Developers Association, and it has been around for, actually next year we are turning 30 years. So it's a very old, very well-established network of game development professionals around the world with over 150 chapters and special interest groups and well, we have IGDA Finland, IGDA Estonia, and many others, obviously across Europe, but also, of course, internationally. And I happen to be, for the past 3 years, in the board of IGDA Global and chairperson, so a lot on my plate. Because obviously that's not enough, so I'm still teaching, I'm still in academic, kind of with one foot there. So I'm because there's so much talent. I live in Turku. There's 3 universities there, and there is so much going on. So, of course, it's a pleasure to work with these people. And I teach game design and digital art or game art courses at university. So, yeah, super happy to be here and discuss about education, because that is the only way to make future better, no matter what is happening around.
Okay, then let's start from the first question. So, does one really needs a formal academic degree to get a job in the game development industry?
Yeah, you can go.
What is that? I'm too old for that. In my background, I'm a traditional classical painter. I have master's degree in classical art. My MA is in Roman painting and wall painting techniques such as graffito, mosaics, fresco, and so on. And then also for the PhD, I actually did in art history and museology because I can. That's about it. But I'm a hardcore gamer my whole life. My parents were gamers. Not working in tech at all. No. Not that sort of nerd, but they were nerds in their souls. And I grew up with that, and I never dreamed that I would actually work in games. But this whole knowledge, the point is that knowledge is transferable. So the whole degree in game development as a focus is very new. So basically, none of us who are like, if you at least see one gray hair, that means they haven't had game education as an option at all in their past. So this is very new, and I see a lot of opportunities with it. But also, it doesn't mean that necessarily you need a degree from the game development to be a to be part of the industry, because the talent that is needed to make games is multidisciplinary. And this is something that we will discuss more. But of course, these programs are exactly then for you to help you to really navigate where you want to be. And that's something that we will also discuss more. But yeah, I don't have a degree, official degree in any game dev stuff. I just make games.
Couldn't agree with you more. Formal education is not needed. Nowadays, we have plenty of different courses online. I'd say it's more about what kind of competencies and skills you have at the moment and how can you utilize those skills in the games industry. Games industry is huge. I mean, we can have game development professionals, we can have data analysts, and nowadays there are plenty of courses online about statistics, R, Python. Then is that all it takes to apply for a data analyst position? Maybe, maybe not. That varies a little. So it's mainly about what kind of skills and competencies you have at the moment. Where can you get more qualified in a specific genre if that's needed? Probably one quick tip to go through different positions in the games industry is to define first that what kind of strengths you have yourself, what do you want to do in the future, and then see how those map with the positions that are online, and then go through that what kind of requirements do job descriptions, for example, have. So do I have all the skills required to the positions that interest me most? If not, then how can I get more skills to be qualified?
Well, this actually brings us to our next question that you already partially replied to. So if someone already has a competence in art or programming, but they want to enter game development industry, what other skills and what other competences they need to acquire to get a job?
Could you repeat what kind of...
If one already has a degree or some experience in software development or in visual arts, what are the competences and skills they have to acquire to enter the industry, to get a job in the industry?
Interesting. Yeah, I think I partially answered that question already. I'd say that any education is a great background because games are art, games are entertainment. Having a degree from some other industry than games is probably pretty good because it will bring new perspectives into how we build games. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have so much to say on this. Oh. I don't know what's happening. I turned off. Does it work now? All right. So, yeah, I have so much to say on this because this is a very common question that I get from the students, obviously. I mean, and the thing is, when it comes to the competences and so on, I mean, all these words that you can hear also in the ads, the job ads, like the calls. One really important thing is to understand that quite often, even the people who work in that company do not qualify with the job ads description. And it's a fun fact. So the thing is that you need to apply. Just apply, even an open application, and really apply it in a way that you speak to the recruiter and really not just sending copy-paste emails like that you do to 50 different companies and nobody answered. Well, of course, like what's there that they can see immediately that you would be a good fit. So really tailor how you communicate to each of the companies that you're interested to apply to. But it's important to apply. apply and network. That's really the main thing. But when it comes to competences, it's about experience you get. So as an artist, you need to, for example, you need to know what are the processes in creating a game. And one really super easy way to dive in, if you haven't, are game jams. Literally game jams. And these are the games that you can do in a weekend with the whole team to really have the taste of what it means to work in a team. And especially with no space or time to overthink. You just sit and do it. Because that's at the end of the day, game development. You sit and do it, ship it, press that button. That's really what matters. And when I said, like usually when a question comes from the students, my warm recommendation usually is don't look at Rovio, Supercell, and those companies to apply immediately. Go to the smaller, mid-sized companies to get as much experience and try different things, because in these smaller teams, like in indie studios, like in our studio, you get to actually try things that you could never really necessarily try elsewhere, and see really by trying, what fits you. Because maybe, like I know in my lead developer and my lead 3D modelers, they initially 3D modelers started education to be a coder, hated it, became a 3D modeler. And other way around. Lead programmer actually wanted to be 3D modeler, he can still model and all, but no, he fell in love during the studies in programming, and that's how he found himself. But without trying, you really don't know what's there for you, what is that really ticks your heart. So, and that's why if you're breaking in, first of all, see what it is that really sparks joy for you. And the best place to do it is in a smaller team, mid-sized company, not necessarily somewhere where you would have only very specific. Different companies do different things, but just like there is time for Rovio, there is time for Supercell, there's all of that. It's there. They're not going anywhere. But where you want to be, it's more important question. So that's kind of, yeah.
As from my experience, people in game development come with very different backgrounds and with very different educations, not necessarily even related to IT or technology or something. Like many of my friends and former colleagues, they have degrees they graduated from medical school or from, I don't know, like history and literature faculties. So that doesn't stop anyone to make their passion for games. And actually, I know one company who has this requirement in their job advertisements that you can have like any kind of academic degree, but you must have at least 1,000 hours played in Dota 2, League of Legends, or anything equal to that. So this is more important, the understanding of the gameplay and from the player's perspective and from the game designer's perspective, because we're building games for people who want to play them. We're not building them for ourselves. We're building it for the players. So we have to understand how players think and what they're expecting from the game, what kind of fun and experience they want to get from this product. But I'm here to advocate for formal education in game design and development, because also from my experience, it helped many people, our students and our graduates, to actually kickstart their career in game development straight ahead. So without wasting their time learning stuff that they don't feel passionate about, working at jobs that they didn't feel passionate about. And say that, for example, our study program is designed in the way to give our students understanding of the entire complexity of the game development process. Because video games are very complex mechanisms that require many disciplines and many specializations. It's not just programming, or it's not just visual design, it's not just narrative design. It's like everything that works in complex. And our curriculum is designed in a way to give students understanding of every single aspect. So after graduation, they already can decide for themselves in which direction they want to develop and in which direction they want to evolve. So with the help of secondary courses or with the help of even tutorials or how previous speakers mentioned today, there's online platforms that that teach actually those secondary courses and can get already a specialization in that direction that you feel the most passionate about. But the base is always there. And our task as educators is not to give our students tools to work with, but to give them the understanding of how the processes work, the logic of it. Because tools are changing all the time. And if a few years ago it was Unreal Engine 4, now it's Unreal Engine 5. In a couple of years it will be Unreal Engine 6, so they will have to learn anew how to use these tools. But when they understand the logic and how to educate themselves, this is actually our goal that as educators we would like to achieve.
Yeah, I would just like to add to that. So yeah, we also, well, everyone in the industry just keeps learning. Like that's it, like if, and that's the thing. It's not just, oh, I got this degree, now I got a job. Like, you know, like no, it keeps going, and learning happens continuously, since also the devices that we are now using in 6 months will be useless. And so that's kind of like how fast things actually go. So it's constant learning, but being aware, as Mariana was saying, like being aware, like what, even if you are, let's say you're a coder and you don't even care how artists are doing their stuff, that's totally fine. Another way around, no need to know what happens under the hood in the engine, don't need to know. But what it's important to know is what this person or what this department might need and how to prepare things on your end, so the processes that are all known for absolute, so you need to know, even if you don't care about the technical side or whatever else, how things work. And obviously with these new programs, this is amazing. I mean, if we had this back in the day, that you could have this opportunity to make all the mistakes during the actual studies, so that when you are out there, you actually already know kind of like how you know, you see you recognize the ropes. That's fantastic. But yeah, most of us learn this very hard way. Still, you will be learning it hard way, and you will be making all sorts of mistakes every single day, but that's okay. It's a teamwork. And that's also another thing to really remember, that you are not alone, no matter what project you're working on. So yeah, feel free to ask around and discuss it as a team.
So our third question is like how to compare self-education versus formal education. So in my personal opinion, there is no competition, because self-education is just helping to enrich formal education that one already acquired. So,
Testing.
so they perfectly work together.
Yeah. One simple way to think about what companies are looking for or evaluating is soft skills, hard skills, and environment. So what's the environment where you come from and how much expertise do you have? You can learn the basics of Unity online, but does the role require computer science knowledge on a broader scale? What's the whole knowledge base that you have? You can still be, let's say you're a Unity developer, you have learned everything yourself, but do you know how to make games in a startup, for example? What's the whole environment and the process of your understanding of making games? So I'd say it's all about, every single person is unique, every single person has a different kind of background, so there's no right answer to this. It's about what kind of context you are jumping into, what's the role you're jumping into. Do you need to have previous background about and understanding about the whole game development cycle, or is it enough that you have expertise on a specific area and then the rest you can learn at work?
Oh, this is, I always find this very difficult with the self-taught and kind of this sort of going through official education. I'm always for the official education when it comes to like the approach, if possible. But the thing is, self-taught, let's be honest, you are self-teaching yourself everything you do. The school is there to provide the process of it and tools and this sort of more information. But at the end of the day, it's up to you what you do with that school. I know a lot of people who are attending school and don't do much. And also I know a lot of people who kind of, I'm gonna, flip the table, leave the school and do my own stuff because I know better. And guess what? The first thing that really is something that self-taught developers lack, what I've seen, again, this is just from my personal experience working with the junior developers, is that the lack of prioritizing and really figuring out how to, and also working with the team. It takes for them longer to get there. While school is already designed, the curriculum is designed that way that, like it or not, you will have to work with people which, by the way, are not your friends, which is how the real world works, because you go to work in a company and no, you might become friends by time, but no, these are not people that are otherwise your friends. So the way how so really the big problem with the self-taught, although again, I think everyone is self-taught because it's how much you are actually putting your input in your education and your skill set. Also school outside and inside the school. But self-taught is lacking that discipline, or at least the approach, how to, like, way of, because this is something the school is really there, like it or not. Like, let's say, I can give you my personal example in Art Academy. Artists, especially young artists, are very, very self-aware, lots of insecurities in so many levels. Let's not go there. So, and then you have exhibition, and you have to have it. Like, there is no chance, like department said that this is where you're gonna, for this and that. So it's not even final exhibition. We're talking about during the year exhibitions. You have to exhibit. You have to exhibit. So like it or not, finished or not, that thing is coming to the wall. And this is an incredible experience for artists to realize what it means really that you have to exhibit. In order to be an art piece, it has to be seen. And the stuff that otherwise as a let's say, me as a, let's say, self-taught artist who knows when I would actually exhibit, when I'm ready, which by the way, let's face it, with arts, it's never ready. So you can always do a bit more. So this is just the mindset, making you this sort of like ready for this reality out there and working with other people. So that's why school, it doesn't matter what you think about the program and the teachers or whatever else, but use it for the system as it is, because without it, you will struggle more, that's all. Like that, it gives you so much to get out of it for yourself, but it's up to you what you do with it. But yeah, school rocks.
Well, in my opinion, self-education is great, but if you're learning something from scratch, then self-education narrows down the variety of skills that you can acquire for it, because you learn from the material that you can only find yourself, that you can outreach to. In school, if you attend a course or attend a university, then you will get a variety of disciplines that merge all together. So it widens up your perspective on the subject that you are learning. That's one thing. And again, to the favor of formal education, that it takes you out of your comfort zone, because when you're self-exploring some topics, then you can stay in your comfort zone, and it also narrows down the experiences you get and the knowledge you get. But as Natasha just brought up an example with the exhibition, so this is the way to get out of the comfort zone and take your skill set on a quality new level.
We are very, very good at avoiding discomfort. So that's why putting yourself out there, like that's why, like school, and when we're talking here about discomfort, it doesn't mean someone is actually forcing you. Like, it's not really, like, nobody is really forced. It's university level. Like, you can step out at any moment you want. But there is this sort of like, it's really good to have someone to really put you in the place to prepare, like to give you that experience, because that's at the end of the day, it's experience. And by the way, again, during school time, that's the place where you should make all possible mistakes. You are cushioned up, you have nothing to lose, make all the mistakes, learn from them, mess around, experiment, see really what works for you or not. And again, this sort of like, without like this sort of being forced, or I hate that word, but kind of like being put to do different things and try different things, will allow you to really see, hey, this might be actually something interesting I want to poke more at. Let's say Unreal Engine 5. Yay. And then you start digging more into it on your own. And so, but whatever sparks your interest, that's what also the more motivation and thing comes along that will improve your personal development. So yeah, get out of that comfort zone.
Also adding to that, and one more thing in favor for formal education, that in school you have teachers who are your mentors, who can help you to develop your ideas and who can help you to point out what you're doing good, what you're doing bad, where is the opportunity for improvement. And I think that the role of mentorship is very important to keep it up through the entire career. Not only at the university, but when you start working at the company, then your superior, your manager, can also be a mentor. And as speaking from my experience, managers are usually very, very happy to mentor juniors and to help them grow and develop their skill sets. So yeah, probably in Rovio you have some mentorship programs for junior developers.
Good question. Just wanted to say quickly about mentorship is that teaching others is one of the best ways to learn things yourselves. And last year, actually, sorry, earlier this year, I was going through different mentorship programs that there are in the industry. And if there is one wish I have for the industry, is that there would be more mentorship programs, or people who even put to social media that, hey, I'm looking for a mentee or a mentor, because we have so many different people in the games industry who would love to share their knowledge or would love to be mentored. So I think that's mentorships are not utilized as well as they could at the moment.
Oh, I agree. And also don't feel kind of like, just, you can also ask if there is someone from the industry that you admire or you want to learn from. Ask them directly. I have mentors from the industry here from Finland and also abroad that I have meetings every now and then with a specific things that I want to discuss, and they're super happy, of course, to discuss, because they've been there with the struggles that I am currently, or they know someone, and overall they're always there to help. So games industry is so wonderfully empowering. I mean, the people are really incredible. So everyone is super happy to mentor forward, and or if nothing else, find the resource or whatever it is that you need to help you out with the current whatever questions you may have. But yeah, mentorships are like, there's lots of different programs, and you can check them out also here in Finland and internationally. But yeah, the IGDA Finland, for example, has quite many stuff happening with that, and together with Wing Games and so on. So yeah, check mentorship programs for sure. And if nothing else, just pull for a sleeve. Hey, I would like to learn from you, and that's equally good. So.
Which brings us to the question of networking in general. So attending events like this one, listening to presentations, meeting people, and how do you think, ladies? So how important is for beginners in the industry to actually build a network in the industry? And how it helps with finding a job?
Yeah, very important. I remember when I was a fresh grad, and then everyone kept on, all the recruiters kept on saying that networking, and I don't know, how do I do that? I feel uncomfortable. I don't know how to approach everything. But going into events, games-related events, discussing with different people, there's always someone you know who then knows another person, and then starts the chain reaction. So networking is very important, because also during the past 3 years, I don't know if anyone knows about Seriously situation, but it came to me as a surprise that how many people actually got new jobs just because of networking. Someone knows someone, and then they know someone. And then sometimes it may be just about who knows what you know. So basically, if you work with someone and they know that you're a great employee, then they will refer you to their company. So sometimes it's all it takes is for someone to know what you know, because you're good at what you do.
And if you are not yet in Seriously or any other companies that you can refer, like this sort of how to start. One really good way to start is, well, obviously you are all here, so that's a great start. For example, these monthly meetups, which have been brought up quite often, like IGDA Finland has every second Tuesday of the month in Maxine here in city center. Free to attend, just come and meet fellow devs. And that's not a recruitment event. So the point is just be there, get to know each other. And yes, it's pretty much this sort of snowball effect where, you talk with someone and suddenly that someone else comes in this sort of conversation and things go forward. But the one thing what I want to also, because I know how hard it is as fellow introvert to actually go out there and mingle. The thing is that whenever you go there, don't go with the kind of like recruitment goal or something like that. It's not about that. Go meet the people. And because these are all like-minded people, they're fellow gamers, game devs, they're like, you are among your people. And they're also equally awkward and insecure as you are. So remember that also. So it's just like, it can be any kind of start of conversation, if nothing else, what you just played recently, or if there are demo corners, you can start by playing the demos. And so it's really not that hard to start. But one thing what you could, if you're really building your network, if you now, for those who have like, no, I want to build my network. Okay, great. Then make yourself small goal. Make yourself, let's say, tonight when I go to IGDA Tallinn event, for example, I want to meet 2 new people, regardless of their ranks and things and companies, but I want to meet someone else than I just usually talk to. Just like that. And then if you already know someone, you can say like, hey, Bea, can you introduce me to someone absolutely out of like, and then it's like, hey, sure, let's see. And then it becomes like, you can ask that also because, and this is how you can develop in this sort of very safe, inclusive environment, which again, most of these events obviously are. So it's not a biz dev, it's to get to know each other. And next time when you send the application, someone might remember you. It's also like, oh yes, that was really nice person that we just like had a chit chat, blah, blah, blah. And then sure, let's see like if it's a good fit. But the point is, go like be out there and remember, the other side is also equally awkward and introverted as you are. Don't worry, no matter what facade looks like, it's the same.
Nice. So our next question is to Natasha, actually. So do graduates match the industry needs and what can be done to improve it? Do graduates match the industry needs and what we can do to improve it?
A lot of things to improve, by the way. So I think there is not enough discussion between the industry needs and the universities, what they are, at least you're a recruiter, so maybe we can have this whole discussion, also school, so let's have it as a discussion. I don't think there is enough communication. And that means that I really hope that we will change that with some of the programs that are growing now around Nordics, that we would have this closer collaboration and communication of what kind of needs, and through internship programs and different kind of like mentorship programs. It doesn't have to be even internship per se. It can be just event-based thing where we could actually learn more what the companies in the region, let's say Helsinki has its own things, or Turku, Tampere, and so on. So what is happening? What are different needs locally? Because there are completely different needs and things in Helsinki and Kajaani, or Jyväskylä, or I don't know, Vaasa. So therefore, it's really also important to discuss in more regional kind of like, okay, what it is. And then from there, we can start collaborating between these hubs, which we have already in place. So, and then again, Tallinn has its own needs and so on. But yeah, in my opinion, it's not enough. So definitely a lot of space to improve, and something we will be working and well, further on. But yeah, what are your thoughts as from the kind of like company side?
I have a list for you that what kind of talent are we missing at the moment? No. Quickly saying that we have professions that we didn't have 5 years ago. Nowadays we have, for example, game economy designers who are doing 100% of game economy design. We didn't have those 5 years ago. The whole industry is evolving all the time. We're utilizing more analytics, data science, data engineering. There's so many things we're doing nowadays that we didn't do 5 years ago. What we're missing at the moment, or where we have a shortage, is technical artists, game economy designers, system designers, and then this is probably a bit from more from Rovio's point of view, but level designers. Yeah.
I can totally echo the data scientist. I mean, that we really need. And regardless, is it mobile or not, doesn't matter. Like you need your data in check. And VFX as well, like technical art, VFX, animation, like all of this is really, really needed, like very specific. But besides that, it's more like also, again, different area, like it's important to discuss it with especially schools, because then schools can then work together with companies even to see like, okay, if we are really in need for, let's say, data, so then there's departments of actual, data nerds. So then we can recruit them to our industry. Come here. Same with the marketing people and so on. So like, so we have the whole school in like whole department of marketing communication, and they don't even consider coming to work in games industry because like what games, like what, like come here. So that's kind of like, so we need this talent also to be brought in and communicate between the departments. So it's not just like game dev school with the game dev companies. It's more like other departments, because all of these HR as well. I mean, we need proper recruitment processes as well. Not just, oh, friend, come over. Like, no, you need skill set. Like that's the thing, because product has its own requirements, and that's the reality of things.
Yeah, but that's one thing that is very tricky to achieve, because it requires a lot of communication between, as you said, different departments, and it also requires like the constant development of the study programs, which is sometimes not that easy to achieve, because the study programs get accredited for 5 years, and they can be renewed only once in 5 years. So when we renew our accreditation, we need to think 5 years ahead what we should be teaching in 5 years. And this is one of the challenges that formal education actually faces. So if we launched the program, let's say 4 years ago, then probably some technologies or some courses that were accredited for this program, they're not relevant anymore by the industry standards in the modern world.
But, for example, nobody stops schools to be part of job fairs like this, or work with unions or recruiters and so on. So just to understand all that. So therefore, activity from the school side, nothing curriculum-wise, but just being present and doing stuff is also really important. And I know quite many schools do that, and I also know quite many schools don't do that. So it's really like it's up to, so the curriculum is there, unfortunately. Yes, you are totally right. There is that challenge, but still, there is a will, there's a way. One can shift around, especially in the way of through internships and so on, what kind of focus and things there could be. I mean, there's a program. So I think that is possible too. Yeah.
There are questions coming from online. So if you have questions, unfortunately, we're going to move forward with the program, but I will ask the speakers to stay for the networking. So if, people from the audience, thank you very much, quite many of you. We're going to move on with the program, but there were a few questions from online, so I'll actually ask you to maybe answer those.
Sure.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you for being
Thank
with us
you.
here today.